everyone, it's Lizzie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing a method that has changed my whole budgeting world. So if you guys are interested in hearing what I have to say and what this is, then keep on watching. So as many of you know who have been following me for a while, I like to plan out my budget for the month. And then I also like to do my paycheck budget. So paycheck budgeting for me is really what has made a huge difference in our finances in my family. And I'm gonna share with you guys the method that I have applied not only to my monthly budget, but to the paycheck budgets. I shared this in one of my monthly budget videos, and that is the 80-20 rule. The goal is to live off of 80% or less of your income. So I applied that to my monthly budget, and I did share that, but you can also apply that to your paycheck budgets. And here is why. For me, my paycheck, it varies paycheck to paycheck. Like I never know the exact dollar amount that I'm going to receive each paycheck. And so having this percentage really allows us to break it down by percentages and to figure out how much we are going to set aside for the cash envelopes, how much we want to set aside to savings, and all of that. I'm going to share what my paycheck budget looks like and how I figured this out. So I'm using my budgeting worksheets and we're gonna fill in all of these blanks. So today's date is the 26th. I'm gonna go ahead and write in what my beginning balance was in my bank account before the deposit came in. So $12.79 is what was in there. And then the paycheck was $1,226.42. Okay, so this is the income that we receive for the paycheck of today's date, the 26th, right? So based on the income, this is the method, guys, the 80-20. So 80% of the income is what should be broken down into spending, into your bills, into all of that, right? Your living expenses. The other 20%, how we have been doing it for the past few months actually, is 10% of the income goes to tithe, and then the other 10% will go towards savings and go towards your debt, anything like that. So we're gonna figure out our 10% because that's the first thing that I like to set aside for when we get paid, is set aside 10% of our income and give it back to God and give it through the church. So of the paycheck, 42, and we're gonna do 10%. So I round it up to 123. Oh, I realized that I didn't add this in. Oops. 642 plus 1279. Gosh darn it. Let me get my whiteout. Thinking about it. Thank God for whiteout. Okay, let me fix this. Okay, much better. So you take the beginning balance and add in the paycheck, and that gives you your total income. Sorry about that. So I'm not setting anything extra for offering at this time. So the total amount for giving is 123, which is 10% of the paycheck amount. So now that we got that set aside, the most important thing for you to focus on is your living expenses. You know, are you paying all of your bills? So you have a roof over your head, you have a vehicle, so you have transportation, you have food in your stomach, and then you have, all of the utilities. So really the necessities is what you should be focusing on. And an easy way to track your expenses, to track your bills, is to do something like this, which is a bill tracker. And I have created this. This is something that really works for me, and it allows me to keep my bills organized and make sure that I set the necessary funds aside each paycheck. That way you're not overwhelmed when the bill comes due and you're not scrambling like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough money in my bank account because I wasn't planning for that. So this is a great way for you to plan ahead for your bills. So I have already filled this in. I have a video walking through how I have this set up, and I'll make sure to link it up above and also in my description box. But this is my bill tracker, and I have all of the bills, all of the expenses that come automatically out of my bank account. And I have all of the paydays listed across the top. So I've already planned this out, and I'm gonna go ahead and fill in my expenses. But before I do that, I'm gonna show what 80% of the income that I received this paycheck is. So 1226.42 times 80%. So that's $981.14. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and write that down on the sticky note. That way we can reference it. So 80% of the income is $981.14, right? And then we already figured out what 10% is $123, okay? And that is from the income of $1226.42, right? So I'm gonna keep this as a reference. Now we're gonna go ahead and fill in our expenses, and I'll share exactly how we factor in that 80% of the income. So if I haven't confused you, let me know in the comments. I'm following what you say. So let me know in the comments if you're understanding so far. So now we're gonna go ahead and just walk through and check off all of these bills on my expense portion of my budgeting worksheet. Okay, so I've marked off all of the fixed expenses from my bill tracker, but we still have the variable expenses, and that is for gas. I'm gonna set aside $90, $60 for my husband, and then $30 for me. Then we have our SunPass, $10 for that. And then I'm also incorporating something new to me that I think is important, and that is having a checking account cushion. The Budget Mom, she talks all about that, and she says to start off slowly if you're not able to set aside more, to leave it in your bank account. That way your balance is not left at zero. And then it also prevents for the unexpected to happen, like what has happened to me in the past few months. Some of my bills, I didn't realize that they went up $5 or $6, and the checking account cushion could have helped me from like figuring out, okay, now I have to not put so much money in my savings, and you know, all of this different things. So we're gonna put a cushion. And for this paycheck, since I'm just starting this, I want to start small, because I'm slowly gonna get more comfortable having a checking account cushion and growing it. So I'm hoping that I can have it to be at least $100 as a checking account cushion, so that my checking account won't fall below that $100, and I know that I'm okay if bills were to fluctuate or whatnot. So we're gonna do $10 for that, for my checking account cushion. I know that's kind of small, but I've noticed that some of my bills have been within like that $10 mark, that have come out, like I think last month, or this month actually, because we're still in December, oh gosh. So this month, one of my bills was like $5 more, and I didn't know, because all of my statements go electronic, and I'll just be notified, oh, your statement is ready to be viewed, and I honestly have not viewed them, so I have to get better at that, because I'm thinking it's a fixed expense, none of that has changed, and it was over $5. So I'm like, gosh darn it, like this is craziness. So yeah, so I'm incorporating a checking account cushion in my paycheck budget now. So now let's add up what the expenses are. $748.69 is what the total fixed expenses are. So now we have to figure out what we have left over after separating all of this funds. So we're gonna take the income. So it's $1239.21. We're gonna subtract the giving, which is the 10%. And then we're also gonna subtract $748.69. Okay? So that leaves us with a total balance of $367.52. So that leaves us with that balance. So now you're probably wondering, well, Lizzie, what is this 80% deal? What are you talking about here? This is where you're gonna take what your 80% is from your income. So $981.14 is what we came up with for 80% of what the income was, right? So that's the $1226.42. 80% of that is $981. Okay? So $981.14, and we're gonna subtract what our total expenses are. And that was $748.69. Okay? So to stay within that 80%, and this is for anything spending, groceries, your gas, any variable expenses, your fixed expenses. This is an easy way for you to find out, okay, from the total fixed expenses, how much can I set aside for my cash envelopes? I had a difficult time figuring out how much money I can set aside for spending, for pet, how much money I can set aside for like vacation envelope, my toiletries, all of that. Like I don't know about you. Let me know if you guys felt the same way. But when I'm planning this out, I had a difficult time to figure out how much money really is good to put in these envelopes and not to be overspending or, putting too much or too little in the envelopes. To be within that 80%, we have $232.45 to put towards our cash envelopes. And that's what we're gonna do right now. So now the other 10%, which is that 123, in our case, we're gonna put that towards our savings. We had used our emergency fund for a medical expense that we didn't realize that it was gonna cost that, so that was an emergency. So I want to refund my emergency fund back. So I'm gonna put the 10% to our savings. So automatically from this $367.52, I'm gonna put $123 in our savings. Nothing extra. We're not gonna put anything extra towards our debt. Remember what was left over from that 80%. So we have $981.14, and we're gonna subtract the $748.69. So $232.45. I'm gonna make a note right here. $232.45 is what we have to set funds aside. But do keep in mind that we still had like some money left over from the income, which is $12. So if we're over by a little bit, it's okay. But I just want to have you keep that in mind. So we took $367.52, and we're taking 10% of the income, putting it in the savings account, right? So $123 is what's going in there. So the difference is $244.52, which is pretty close. Like I mentioned, $232.45 is what we had left over from that 80% of what the paycheck was, and then we had that $12 and some cents left over in the bank account. So $244.52 sounds about right for us to be able to stuff our cash envelopes. Hope that makes sense. If it did, give it a thumbs up. I'm trying to make this as simple as possible, but we're gonna go ahead and jump right into stuffing the cash envelopes. So I'm gonna start off with grocery. Groceries, we set aside $75 each week. So we're gonna set aside $75 because I'm getting paid in just a few days, and that's next week. So I can set aside $75 from that pay to cover us for the following week. So $75 is good. And then we're also gonna set money aside for car maintenance. We're putting $30 in there. Gifts. And this is for like birthdays and anything like that. To start growing that, we're putting $10. Our home envelope, because it's the day after Christmas, I want to get the deals for the Christmas decor, and I want to have money set aside for that. So we're taking $80 and putting it in the home fund. And then spending, this is going to be new as well. I've gotten a lot of comments about, well, where don't you guys have like your money and then his money and having it separate? And we used to do that in the beginning of us doing our cash envelopes, but then we combined everything into just one cash envelope because we're always together and we just kind of do things. But then recently our schedules have kind of changed, and my husband has been doing like work on the side, and he'll be out. And then I'm also really busy, so we haven't been together as much when it comes to like going out. So I do think it's time to incorporate this back into our budget, splitting the spending, like our personal money, splitting it up. So he'll have his money cash, and then I will have mine to do whatever I wish. So the amounts that we are setting aside is $24 each. And that's how much money we set aside for this. So now we're gonna go ahead and add all this up and see what we're left with. So $243 is how much these cash envelopes are. So to see if we're at a zero-based budget, we're gonna take the $367.52, subtract the $123, and then subtract the $243. So we're pretty close. I think I did leave a little extra for the checking account cushion. $123.75 is what I set aside for the emergency. And then for the checking account cushion, there was 77 cents left over in the bank account. But I will leave it as is. And this is how my paycheck budget looks like. So using the 80%, figuring out how much I have remaining, and I will break it down in my cash envelope. So if this is something that is helpful to you guys, I hope it is, as it has been for us. Let me know in the comments. But we're gonna go ahead and figure out how much cash we need. So I have 123. I always withdraw the cash for tithe. So we have 120. You know what? I forgot to mention, I got pay from Google, and I did withdraw that money for tithe. So that is, I had a little post-it, $13 extra for tithe. So we're gonna go ahead and just add in, this is not a part of this paycheck budget, but I just wanna make a note that I do have $13 being added. So it'll be $136 that I'm withdrawing. So it's 120.35.6. And now let's get into these. So for groceries, we took out 50, 75, 20, 30, 10. Home is 50, 70, 80. Spending was 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then again, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we withdrew 100, 2 50s, 6 20s, 4 10s, 2 5s, and 9 1s. All right, now something that I think is really, really exciting is this new cash wallet system. I did a review that was incorporated into one of my budgeting videos. So if you missed out on that, I'm gonna go ahead and just show you what my wallet looks like. And for this video, I am doing a giveaway. It is Conscious Wallet sent me a second wallet to give to one of my subscribers, and this is just such a wonderful gift. Thank you so much, Conscious Wallet, for sending this to me. I will be doing something very simple as far as entering the giveaway. Check out the description box. It has all of the details. It has the link for the giveaway to enter. So this is my wallet, and I have my cash all laid out and ready. So I'm gonna keep that wallet to the side, and we're gonna go stuff my envelopes. So what I like to do when I am stuffing my cash envelopes is just going through all of, so the giving, all of my cash envelopes here on my paycheck budget, and I will take my cash denominations that I have already set aside and stuff them. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So the first thing is the giving envelope, which I have in my wallet actually. Let me take it out. It's here. So $136 is what I am taking out. So 135 and 6, 20, 35, 6. And I stuff my cash envelopes. So now the next thing is groceries, which I have it set here, is getting 75. So you take 50, 70, and 75. And I just go ahead, put that in here. And now I also am gonna track it on this tracker. So I'll put today's date. And I'll just say added. And put in how much I'm adding to the grocery envelope. So I'll take this and go ahead and put it in my wallet. And that way I am all set with my grocery envelope. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that for each of the cash envelopes that I withdrew from. Okay, so let me just put all of these back in here. All right, and then this last $24, I'm just gonna give to my husband so he can keep it in his wallet. But that is how my new way of doing my paycheck budget is going, and I am loving it. Let me know what you guys think. And also don't forget that we have a giveaway going on with the wallet. You can get yourself one. There'll be one lucky winner to get this Conscious Wallet. And again, everything is in the description box down below, so don't forget to check that out. And also tag me if you guys have been utilizing my paycheck budget. I'll leave my Instagram handle right here because I would love to see how you guys are using it and cutting it and everything. But I just thank you guys so much for your support, and I will see you guys in a brand new video. Bye guys.